Welcome back. Today's conversation is something we all hear about almost every day, but rarely pause to truly understand sustainability. Is it just about the planet, or is it also about how we live, think, and take care of ourselves every single day? Because the truth is, our smallest choices are shaping something much bigger than what we realize. And to explore this in a real, simple, and meaningful way, I'm joined by someone who truly lives this every single day, who is none other than my dearest Queen sister, Dr. Seema Shah. Hi, Seema. How are you?
I'm fine, Suchi. How are you?
I'm good and so happy to have you back and so proud of you. Look at you, how gorgeous you are. A light Mrs. Earth, Northern European.
That's
I'm
correct.
so proud of you.
Thank you for having me, Suchi. It's a pleasure to be here. And yes, my dear Sesh sister, congratulations to you as well, being Mrs. United Kingdom Universe. And I look forward to your journey. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Right. So we hear a lot about sustainability everywhere these days. It's a hot topic, sustainability, and more or less everyone, it's not a new topic. Everyone is aware of it. But what does sustainability really mean to you?
Right. Thank you so much for asking. And what a valid question this day and age, especially when we're inundated with the amount of choices we have with everything out there, be it physical things, be it services, even like to do with technology. There's just so much out there. So to me, sustainability is living intentionally because there is a saying, we vote with our wallets. And when we live intentionally, every action, every choice we make makes an impact, not just for ourselves, but it ripples out. Like voting with our wallet, if we make a choice, for example, we want to buy a particular item to prepare a meal, we are voting, creating demand for it. So then there is supply for it. So every choice we make, it can help make things more sustainable, depending the ethos behind it and the values, or are we not conducive to a sustainable living? So it's living in harmony with ourselves, with our planet or the nature around us, and more importantly, how is it going to affect our future generations? Because what we do today is impacting us today, but it's going to impact us in future as well, ourselves as well as future generations to come. So that to me is sustainability, awareness with every action we take so that we're looking after ourselves intentionally, we're looking at our beautiful planet and thinking about future generations.
Very well explained. So, in short, it's like being conscious. When you're conscious and taking care of yourself, automatically everything around you will fall in place. So it's
So
yeah. So, but in the most, like, we are so busy, and everyone knows, like, oh, this is good, this is not good. We have to be like that. But do you think people are really following them?
So it all starts with awareness. When we get empowered and we are a voice to empower others, then there's a ripple effect. So every action we do, so for example, a mother, we both mothers, at home, if we do certain sustainable actions, and we'll go through some, then that impacts our children, which is the future generation. It affects other family members and their well-being, but it also impacts our sustenance. We all, when we think deeply, we've all got one home, and that's planet Earth. Yes, we call our little areas where we live or pockets of areas where we live home, but really, we all need land, we need the water, we need the sunlight, we need the air to breathe. We've got one home. And when we all make those little actions on a consistent basis, and it doesn't have to be big things, it can be small steps. For example, today I got water here in a stainless steel glass instead of, say, a plastic or polystyrene. And what happens is this stainless steel glass is evergreen. It can be passed down from me to future generations, my son, and it can be reused. It's saving a lot of plastic waste or paper waste for that matter of fact. So those small sustainable changes, when we can make them, go such a long way in the long term.
Absolutely agree. And also, it's like a gratitude we are showing to the nature
Yes,
for what we are
absolutely.
getting today, right? I was just thinking, probably we might miss showing the gratitude on these things and small little things. But one day, if there is no water in the tap, and then we will come to know, oh my God, so life is zero. Life will be just start. One day, tap, no water in the tap, that's it. So that's how, it's a kind of gratitude we can actually show. It's an absolute,
That's so true. And we
yeah,
are so
wonderful.
blessed in this Western world that we have clean water.
Yes,
See, I was born and raised in East Africa in Kenya. Some of the rural areas do not have clean water. And I have seen when I've gone there, people literally going with big containers to the nearest water source to get the water. And then usually they boil it or warm it up to make it safe, make it sure the sediments settle or sieve it, and then it's suitable for drinking. So we are so blessed in a
like,
Western world that we have clean water. We can drink tap water as it is if we wanted to. And yes, but it's our responsibility as individuals to make sure that we don't take things like that, like water, for granted, and we do our best to look after the resources that we've got.
yes, 100%. How are our everyday choices, the small little choices we make, will impact our health and planet?
Thank you. Yes, and such a wonderful question, because everyday choices, those consistent choices that we form as habits, make such a big ripple effect and impact overall. And we can do it in various ways. So, for example, when it comes to eating, are we reducing food waste? Are we only buying and consuming the food that we need? In fact, in the UK, there are tons and tons, millions of tons of food waste that happen on a daily basis, monthly and weekly basis. When you think about, regional, and I know of a local organization that I really worked with, and it's a local area that is called the Waterside Food Project. What they do is every day, on average, it's about 10 supermarket trips that they take for food that is not sold and cannot be sold. They collect it so that it's not wasted. And then they've got a local shop there where people, they call it food dignity, people who can't really afford to shop in supermarkets. So it's a membership scheme. And they can go in there, and anything that is fresh produce, for example, fruits, vegetables, that's covered in the membership, and they can buy other things like non-perishables from the shelves. But they are preventing a lot of food going wasted, and whatever they can't sell in their shops. For example, when I visited them, they had really overripe bananas. I went to visit the lady there because I wanted to know more about how I can support this local project. And they've now got a composter, a very good one, so they don't even waste what they can't sell. So I've got a compost in my garden. So any food waste, peels, ends of like vegetables or things I can't eat, I put that in the compost, because that regenerates, it creates more nutrient soil for me to then plant more things. I grow my own things as well, and that reduces plastic waste, cardboard waste, the cans, the aluminium waste, because a lot of what we buy, unfortunately, is packaged. So by growing my own, it's organic because I'm not spraying anything. Second, it's the love. When you water, you nourish, you see something grow. There's a different energy. And like when I eat the raspberries from my garden or anything else, I feel the energy because I put, the love and the care to grow them. But that's another way growing. And it's such a good way to involve the future generation when they're connected with Mother Earth and the soil. Science shows about grounding, and how being in nature reduces our stress levels as well. But the connection to growing, where does the food come from? How does it grow? The patience. It's taking weeks or months to grow something, sometimes even a full year because it needs to go through seasons, sometimes multiple years if it's like a tree that needs to grow for fruit and mature. How easy is it for somebody who doesn't know to think this is overripe, it's gone off and just dispose it in normal waste, then somebody who appreciates the process of how long it's taken and the care that's gone into growing something. So just sort of food for thought for, families and generations, if especially if you've got the younger generation, where a lot of the time in the urban areas they might not have a space, try and involve them and connect them to nature as much as possible. The other way is recycling. Can you recycle glass, cardboard, fabric as well, clothes that are either worn down, grown out of, things like that? Reusing and repurposing. So for example, I've got some like little jam jars and coffee jars and things. A lot of the times I'll use those same ones rather than buying new ones or using plastic. If I got leftovers, or even making my own self-care products. One of them is really simple. For example, if you wanted to care for the planet and yourself, it's sea salt or Himalayan salt with, if you got a good quality essential oil, you can use that. And if you got some flower petals, so I usually have rose growing in my garden, and every summer I'll collect some petals, dry them in natural sunlight. So I got dried rose petal. And when I make my bath salts, I'll put some of that in that. And yeah, with the salt, if I want to put a little bit of other things in it, like essential oils, I will. But that reduces again consumption from boxes, plastic packets, and things like that. It's also really nourishing, and to just put things together with an intention, with love. Usually, I have an affirmation as I'm preparing something, or even cooking, like some blessings or some prayers. So it's the intention behind all these little actions as well. And the other thing, because we both Sesh sisters and with pageantry and in the Western world, sometimes consumerism, more outfits, more accessories is a big thing.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to get caught in the cycle of that. So, for example, this dress that I'm wearing, that's reloved. The earrings were passed down from my sister. And
Wow.
it's things like that. I have a lot of saris that have been passed down either from my mother-in-law or my mother. Some of them are from my grandmother as well. And talking about saris, because we both come from the Indian heritage, sometimes, yes, the saris, depending on the style, are evergreen. Sometimes there are a little bit of a trend or modern aspect to it. So for me, I'll combine it with either a crop top or a modern blouse, and I'll mix and match and do a bit of fusion with an old style sari with a modern blouse things. And it sometimes just increases the creativity, the joy, and a fresher look to things. But I really value all those, traditional things which have taken heirloom, the artisans, preserving natural dyes and all that rather than the synthetic fabrics. So that all really counts towards helping out with the environment as well. When we reduce the consumerism and see how can we repurpose, how can we reuse, can we swap things? Like my sister gave me these earrings, she's got a few of my outfits. So, can we use that concept where we're helping each other and helping the planet and future generations, because we're conserving the resources by doing these swaps and reducing our consumption of new items where possible. So those are some tips right there.
Very interesting. Especially with the soap one, what you were telling, right? I really love that idea. And I've seen some of your posts. I think you were talking about these essential oils. I think some skincare products as well. And it was so interesting. And as you said, it's everything homemade. Like you make everything from your kitchen, and that's also a kind of nourishing your skin, not just putting loads of chemicals. Just go to the market and get some fancy product. That's so
Yes.
interesting. And
Yeah.
and one more thing, what I really loved is your sister's earrings.
Thank you.
Very good. That's so cute. And also memories, right? And as you said, that's why the reason I wore this sari is, again, every sari of mine, it got a story. This is from India, my grandmother's small town, where they do, handloom.
Yes.
The group of people, they use the natural dyes, and they weave these saris in very sustainable ways. So I feel like these kind of clothes talks untold, clothes, they talk untold stories.
So
The hard work, and because my mom, she bought this for me. So it's a memory, right? So when
Yeah.
you wear it, I mean, I never get that feel when I wear a casual jeans or the tops or fancy clothes. But every time I wear something coming from India, from the family, it carries a powerful story.
So true, because there's sentiments behind it, the emotions, the stories behind it. And every time I wear something artisan, think about how many families it has fed because it's hand loomed,
Absolutely.
handmade. And
Yeah,
if it's got natural dyes and all that, all those skills we need to,
preserve.
when we use those products, passed down, through family or support. If you're going to buy something new, if we're going to get something that has got a good ethos with values, it just
True.
makes a difference. It's a ripple effect. And I notice that
100%.
time and time again. And for that reason, I often support local farmers markets and things like that as well, because that helps to create local economy for the farmers and for the like farm shops. It really does make a big impact in the long term.
Totally agree. Seema, that's so interesting. So if someone should start right away or from now, what are like two or three simple habits they can change?
Right, thank you so much. In fact, you asked exactly the right question, because starting small with 2 to 3 habits and then adding on to them really
True.
makes a difference. In this busy world, when we start small, we're more likely to be consistent and be accountable to do them. So, one thing is small habits, like for example, when you go shopping, take a reusable bag with you or a few bags, depending
Yeah.
on how big you want to shop. Simple. Most of us have bags that we can reuse at home. That way, we're reducing plastic waste. And it depends on which countries you live in. So, in the UK, most shops now charge if you're going to get a new bag from the shop. Some countries, that's not the case yet. So, people, have a lot of bags when they come
Yeah.
out of their shops, while other countries have banned plastic bags altogether.
Mm.
For example, Kenya, where I was born and brought up with, I went there in December with my family. So it's paper bags. If you buy anything from shops, you either take your own reusable bags or it's like the paper bags that they use, because they're really reduce the plastic. Most hotels, resorts, or homes will only have glass water bottles, not even plastic ones available. So it depends on which part of the world you are. But where possible, reusable bags, reusable water bottles. For example, we talked about stainless steel, so you can get stainless steel water
Yeah.
bottles or glass bottles as well. So that's one simple thing: reduce plastic waste. It's harming our oceans, it's harming our land. Most plastics are non-biodegradable for many years. It depends on the type of plastics and other toxins they've got in it. For example, a lot of them are heavily dyed, like colored green, blue bottles, etc. So there's a lot more than just the plastic component in terms of other things when it comes to that. The other thing is reduce food waste. We all need our meals. Something simple if they're leftovers. So, as an example, if you got leftover rice, can you then make that into a rice dessert, like something sweet? Or can you add some vegetables to the leftover rice to make like a vegetable rice dish? Little changes like that. The leftover vegetables, which was, eaten as a side or a complement, can you then use those vegetables in a pasta dish, for example, or even make a soup out of them? So
Yeah.
it's all about, just because there's a little bit left over doesn't mean that it automatically has to go in the bin. What can you do with it? Again, there are so many people in so many parts of the world, and there's so much going on geopolitically. When we've got food at our disposal, it's a blessing. Please don't take it for granted
Yes.
and don't waste food. And one other thing is, for those of you interested, I have got a free ebook. It's completely free and it's sustainable and healthy eating. And it's got 5 tips on how you can eat healthier. It's got a green juice recipe, and that's available on my website. But basically, avoid food waste as much as possible. It's taken a lot all the way from the seed to actually grow, looked after, tended, and then in a lot of instances, if you're buying from supermarket, it has been harvested, packaged, stored, and then onto the shop floor, and then somebody served you at the checkout. Then it's come home. There's so many people, so much that goes through it. So that's another tip, think consciously when you eat. The third thing which I mentioned is, the natural things when it comes to self-care, cosmetics, things like that. So a lot of traditional cultures have ways that they use natural things for beautification. For example, a turmeric face mask is used very often in the, Indian tradition. And then there's something called kajal, which is a bit like an eyeliner. It's usually something iron, like an iron knife over, a gas stove. And then basically the black bits that collect, that's used. And that's high in iron as well. Basically, it's produced from that, and it's non-toxic compared to a lot of the especially highly processed and synthetic eyeliners. Another thing is, so when I went to East Africa, it's a red fruit. It's a small fruit, and they call it lipstick fruit because literally when you juice it, a bit like pomegranate, when you juice it, it's a red juice. So with this one, it's literally a red color, kind of, and you can literally put it on your lips and it stains the lips red. And they call it lipstick fruit. So it's literally one ingredient from a plant, and they use it as a lipstick. And a lot of the traditional communities will use something like that as opposed to, commercial lipstick. So little things like that. How can you go right to the base? Can you use an aloe vera leaf as a moisturizer? Or coconut oil as a moisturizer, body moisturizer? Little thing, can you use like ground rice flour as an exfoliator with a bit of water? So little things like that. Try that. Not only are you helping to save the packaging from commercial products and the harmful things which affect us, from a hormonal and health point of view, but you are helping future generations as well with this conscious, sustainable choices. And if you got any children, they're learning how to go back to the basics as well.
So interesting. As you are telling, I was remembering about the kajal. In India, I think even today, we have a culture for babies. They put, the kajal and tikka and all. So they literally make, like, they apply ghee to a spoon or a knife, and they lit a diya with the same oil or some oil, and then close with some lid. So after like a few hours, it will form that black thing, and they just again put little ghee and use it. It's so nice, and it got that very nice aroma as well.
It's got very earthy because of
And thank you so much for reminding us all those. And this lipstick fruit is something first time, I heard about it. You need to share all that information so that I can provide it under the description. If someone is really interested, they can start using.
I'll send you a picture as well, because I've got a packet but of the powder of the lipstick fruit that I bought when I went to Zanzibar. And in fact, you know how they have a lot of food dyes? So lipstick fruit, if you want the pink color in a fruit, so for example, if you're making a dessert and we want the pink color, because it's a fruit, again, people use beetroot powder and all that, but they use that as well, and they use it as a cosmetic thing as well. But it was the first time when I went to a farm tour, a spice farm tour in Zanzibar, that I saw the lipstick fruit and how it was used, and I was amazed as well.
Really? Yeah, you can send me all the details. Also your recipes. They're so interesting because I've seen a few videos. So if you can share all that information, then also people can reach out to you, because I give your website details, everything, if they are interested for more recipes or any other tips like this. So they can
thank you. And if you want the free ebook as well, again, it's free. If you want tips on conscious, healthy eating, then definitely, yes, you can get that from my website.
Wonderful. So as we are on very interesting topic of skincare, all those, so would you like to share a quick and easy recipe which is organic and is helpful, like an antioxidant?
Well, thank you. There's so much available out there. But what I've found is if you go back to nature and use simple things, as few ingredients, like one ingredient, things like aloe vera, things like that, really helps. So something which was very interesting. So Morocco is known for argan oil. And argan oil is known for its skin moisturizing properties and also for the hair. But what I discovered is they've got something called prickly pear, which is a fruit. It's basically a cactus and it's got the fruit on top and it looks prickly on the outside. It's either red in color or yellow in color,
Is
the
it a
fruit.
plant?
Yes, yeah. So it's
Oh,
like a cactus and it's got a fruit. It's
wow.
called prickly pear. And that prickly pear, the seeds, they basically get oil from that, and it's meant to be really good for the skin. In fact, I bought some from Morocco when I visited there, and that oil is meant to be, it's thinner than argan oil, and it's so good when you apply. And I apply it some nights a week,
Wow.
and you really feel the difference because I suffered from acne during my teens, 20s, even in my 30s.
Tell me
And
about it.
honestly,
I had all the time.
bless you. Yes, even like my early 40s to a certain extent. But basically, this one thing, again, I didn't know about it. And that's what I feel travel really broadens the mind. Like I found lipstick fruit when I went to Zanzibar. And then I found about this prickly pear oil. I knew about argan oil, but I didn't know about prickly pear oil. And when I found that out, I was like, wow. And then the science behind it, I explored. So that is one of the tip that do your research. A
Yes.
lot of the times, the adverts, who has got the biggest budget for marketing? Think about that. Usually things which can't be patented, like a fresh aloe vera leaf or turmeric or ginger, it's not going to get the marketing because there's no money for the patent for that. But they have the value. And also, as a health coach, alongside other things I do, what I empower people to do is what we feed ourselves. Food is medicine. Let food be thy medicine and medicine thy food. The father of modern medicine, Hippocrates, said that. And when we nourish ourselves internally, it really shows outside because food is our energy. If we have the right energy, the right fuel, it will show on the outside. And we were just mentioning ginger turmeric, that's why you can see commercially those ginger shots or ginger with turmeric
Yes.
shots. There is so much value in that. Helps with cleansing our digestive system. And there's the gut brain axis.
Yeah.
When we are happy, the happy hormone serotonin, when our gut is happy, we are happier in our minds. When we got more clarity in our minds, we can take more sustainable, aware
Right.
actions to make a difference for people like ourselves, our families, for our planet, and for generations to come.
Very well said. And you have so much knowledge on this that you need to share even that prickly fruit
Sure.
thing. Is it available here or is it something will be available only in the Morocco?
Probably online, but I haven't seen it on a shop floor as
Yeah,
one of those main things. But over there, because prickly pear grows in certain areas, so basically it was available
that's
them
the issue.
already. Yeah, it grows very often in some Mediterranean countries and also Italy. I've seen prickly pear there, so they make sometimes in Italy prickly pear, for example, fragrances, sorbets, things
Yeah,
like that. Not It's not native to the UK, but it
yeah.
might be available online. Yes.
Or probably we can try like something like essential oils or something.
Yeah, so
A little
essential
research.
oils again are amazing
Yeah,
because they are potent gifts from Mother Earth, but the quality and the quantity, because they're potent, the
should. Yeah,
quality and quantity matter. Maybe something for another conversation, Suchi, because there's so much about essential oils for our body, for our mind, and even for our soul, because they have got so much energy. Like sandalwood, for example, is used in a
yeah.
lot of spiritual, practices, especially in the Indian or Asian culture.
Yes, or my favorite subject. So we can do it.
Sure.
Yeah. So as a closing thought,
Mhm.
how would like as a woman, how I impact sustainability?
As a woman, I feel we are nurturers innately, also leaders. Well, even if you look at the traditional role of a woman being a homemaker or, the matriarch of a society, when we think about that nurturing motherly quality, the quality of Mother Earth as well, who nurtures us with all the wisdom, seasons, what is grown and what is harvested in every season, and how do we experience life and learn from those seasons. So when us women take our power back, and learn from Mother Earth, we impact our families because we're impacting our own health positively. We're looking after ourselves, we're impacting families, we're impacting our communities, and we're impacting the world globally. And that's my simple mission for ourselves. When we do something, we're impacting people. So for people, us and others, for the planet, how can we live mindfully and sustainably and make a positive difference? And for generations. So for people, planet, and generations, because we want to ideally leave the world a better place than we found it, or at least no worse than we found it at the bare minimum.
Agree. Yes, I totally believe that it's always starts within from us
Yes.
and then within families, communities, and yeah, so totally agree. It's very interesting conversation with you, Seema, today, and it's really important because more or less everyone, they if just go randomly and ask sustainability, yes, we know about it, but it how we are actually applying in our daily lives that matters a lot. So I think this session gave them a very easy and helpful ways how they can actually start living in sustainable ways by making conscious choices, which is very important. As you said, how we are keeping the world and giving it safe and healthy for future generations, which we have to keep that in the mind when we are doing every single act today. So I think,
Absolutely.
yeah, so yeah, it's not complicated because some people they think sustainability is so complicated or it is not applicable for us. It's certainly not that case. It's sustainability isn't a big leap. It's a conscious choice we make every single day.
Yes, absolutely. It all starts with us. It starts with a positive mindset. Yes, we can do this one small change. Start with one, if not two or three, something small. Instead of reaching out for something in a plastic container or a plastic water bottle, for example, can I use something reusable, a reusable glass? Can I repurpose a glass container for putting other things in it, or stainless steel? How can we make those positive changes? Can we reduce the food waste? Can we only buy enough food that we need, especially if we know that we're not going to consume it all? All these little things that can help a long way. We vote with our pockets. Our choices matter for our health, for that of our planet, and will impact the future generation. What we choose today is
100%.
going to be
Yeah.
the supply demand for tomorrow as well.
100% we have to live with that consciousness in mind.
Yes, definitely. But thank you so much for having me, Suchi. And, thank you everyone for listening in.
And thank you so much, Seema. As usual, it's a fantastic session, huge knowledge, and I always think that 1 hour is definitely not enough. So yeah, probably another session we can deep dive into some other topic related to this. But I wish you all the very best in everything what you're doing. Great job, and I'm so proud of you. And thank you so much, everyone. I think this podcast, this episode helped. I will give all the details, all the interesting things what we discussed under the description. And also feel free to reach out to Seema Shah, my dearest friend.